What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're reviewing the first qualifying final between Brisbane and Port Adelaide. Port going down by 48 points in a one-sided contest at the Gabba. And our worst fears certainly came to fruition on Saturday night, because the Gabatoir, the fortress that is playing in Brisbane against Brisbane, is real, and it's right there, and they haven't lost there this year, and they'll continue to dominate Brisbane because of their such a big home ground advantage, and Port Adelaide just couldn't match it. They couldn't get the job done, and they succumbed to the pressure with a lot of injuries and just not being good enough along the way. So let's get straight into it. Let's just review this game. Finals, just isn't our thing. It really isn't, and it's a very disappointing result in the fact that you look at every game in the finals that's happened. Collingwood just got over the line against the D's. Carlton just scraped through against Sydney. The Giants held off St Kilda in a standoff match at the MCG, and then you get to Saturday night, the two teams that should put on a show, and well, Brisbane definitely put on a show, and Port Adelaide put on the show they love to put on for their fans, and that is just pure disappointment and not really giving what they should, and that is competitive finals football and a game plan that has to match up, and it just doesn't. We've got everything there for us, and we just don't do it. Time and time again we fail, and this time it's in a qualifying final. It's not in it's not at home in a prelim or anything like that. This is away against Brisbane, in Brisbane. Fair, you can say, toughest task to do. We were right in the contest to half-time. Yeah, they kicked a couple of late goals going into half-time, but we were right there. We brought it back and we matched them on the outside. We were able to create opportunities. Ollie Lord was fantastic, and I'll get to him in a second. But we're now at a point where it simply just becomes second nature for us to fall away, especially at the Gabba. Why is it that we get to a point where we're a chance to win the game and then just fall flat on our asses, and everyone that falls flat on their ass gets an injury? Dylan Williams with a hamstring, poor Trent McKenzie with the defeated look on his face, the throw of the mouthguard after hurting his knee again. Like, it's just simply, it's not good enough. It is just not good enough, and to me, that's a nail in the coffin in terms of our final series. There is no belief now. Port Adelaide fans had a lot of belief and internal belief coming into this, and that just got burnt. That just got put under the carpet, sent in the post office, and pissed off, because we're just simply not good enough. And look, we've outdone ourselves this year, and yeah, it's a sense of defeat for the season, and I don't want to write us off. But we just know the story and how it goes, don't we? It's the same old story. This time we're just going to have to lose. We've lost a qualifying final. The one thing for me is obviously straight sets. I don't want to finish in the top four and end up losing at home against GWS. That's something that's got to be made sure that we at least get to a prelim. But I'll get to that, in the preview coming up. But for this game, we were just like Cam Rayner. Charlie Cameron, Joe Danaher just has a number on us every single time we play up there. We don't have a big key defender to match the big forwards, and big forwards like to play a pretty prominent game against us, and it constantly happens. I think I look at the way we played up forward. We're just unstructured. We have Marshall missing easy opportunities. We have Jeremy Finlayson, who has just simply no confidence or defending skills at the moment. Poor Ollie Lord, as I said, probably one of our better players on the night, kicked 4 goals, was just in and amongst it, took on his opportunity, and shouldn't be dropped next week either. He was really impressive. He had Rosie in there. Butters was sort of kept out of the game a little bit, and definitely was definitely targeted Zorko as well, who's a diving maniac and would be very good in Hollywood. But we just had no class and no one to stand up in that moment. We had no X factor capable of switching the game back towards our favour. We had no big leadership player to stand up. You've got Darcy Byrne-Jones who gets subbed out. You get Tom Jonas who's injured. You've got Ollie Wines who has 3 kicks as a captain. Something's got to change, and something's got to change quickly for this final series to become anything. The fact that we don't make the quick enough changes in-game as well is really concerning, because we keep just letting the whip around go. You know, it just keeps spinning and spinning, and it gets to a point where you just have to accept the fact that it's not going to change. I'm not going to take anything away from Brisbane, though. Like, they are probably the form team in the comp. They are exceptional. Like, they're going to be very difficult to beat this year. Even going to the MCG, like, if they make it to the grand final, they get a home prelim at the Gabba, then they got to play at the G, either against Collingwood or we'll probably beat Collingwood. Let's be honest. But what a difficult scenario for whoever plays them in a prelim, because Brisbane they're fantastic. You know, Jasper Fletcher's an unbelievable kid. He plays really, really well. Even defensively, they were so well structured. Harris Andrews is a gun. Their run from the contest is amazing. The way they overlap the footy and the way they are able to read the ball as well is really, really, really impressive. For me, that's at a point where you can't stop that. You can't stop the connection they would have had on the field. And by all means, Port would have tried, and they had their moments. But again, I talk about players who could stand up in moments. We don't have any. As our pressure players and our key players that do that, Power Pepper, Rioli, Ollie Wines, as I said, no one was there. Houston was okay. But then, I look at Finlayson and Marshall. Marshall couldn't hit a side of the barn if the barn was 2 feet in front of him at the moment. Like, it's really, really concerning how much Finlayson and Marshall's back end of the seasons have fallen off. You're playing in finals, boys. Why are you giving us that? Obviously, we've seen the theme of the final series is kicking straight, and we didn't do that early on and didn't take opportunities, as I said. The other thing as well is a slow start. I don't know what it is about us and having a slow start anywhere, especially at the Gabba, though. We always seem to not start well. I don't think we have a switch at the moment. You look at the last 3 games of the season, we sort of went through our paces. GWS was the best game we've played in 3 or 4 months. And now we're coming up against them again. We can't have that same issue where we start slowly. Not at home. You've got a big crowd coming next week. Make the most of it. Don't go out in straight sets, because that's probably the most disappointing factor of this whole final series is there is that possibility now that we could be kicked out in straight sets. If you can't win a final at home next week, don't come back for a while. Well, Port fans, let me know in the comments below your thoughts on that final. It was not great to watch, no matter what state you were in. Hard to swallow. Hard pill to swallow. Very, very, very devastated and really sad, because I just expected better and I wanted better. I wanted us to come out into the big stage, the biggest of stages, on a Saturday night in a final and prove a lot of people wrong. But no, all they do is prove to us that not good enough, and they prove everyone right. So please, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for your support as well, everyone. Let's get through the next week and hopefully see where we go for the rest of the final series. So thank you for watching. My name's Anthony, and as always, come the pair.